assignment in this session has been a poster session for students to communicate what they've understood from some of our lectures. So what they were asked to do was they were asked to produce a poster on one of the lecture topics which we'd covered throughout the semester. These posters are on a range of different subjects from what we've taught across the module, and they include topics such as cancer, such as proteins, the components of blood, the immune system, antibodies, and these are all subjects which have relevance later in their course that they'll understand more. And so we've had a nice diversity. We've had quite a lot of posters on cancer today. I think that's something which is really interesting. There's huge amounts of research going on to do with cancer, so that's been really interesting to see what students have learnt and new aspects of that disease which they've learnt about.
So my poster was on the remodelling and repair of bone, so particularly when you have a fracture, the different types of repair that you have, and yeah, all the cells involved in those processes.
My poster is about humoral immunity, and it's quite an interesting topic because it's part of the adaptive immune system, and I go into much detail about the process of activating B cells, and then from the process of activating B cells, how it kind of expands and produces antibodies to combat whatever infection or whatever foreign body has entered the human body. So that's part of our immune system, and it's quite interesting to look at.
So the idea of this module is to give students a background in mostly biology of what they will need to know later on in their bioengineering degree. So the biology basics, which they can then build on to understand how they can solve particular biological problems and how they can work with that basic biology knowledge to then build on it to become bioengineers.
Also, we've learnt about wound repair and effects of implants on healing and all the cells involved, so it's a very broad module and there's definitely something for everyone in it.
As part of this module, we require the students to go and assess each other's posters. So today in the session we asked each student, once they'd put their posters up, to go around and look at 5 of the other posters that were in the session. So every single poster will have been assessed by their peers, and they all have to give a little bit of feedback, a little comment as to what they think of the poster, as well as giving it a mark. And this all goes together with the assessment from the academics to give a final mark for this session.
I came second for today's scoring, and I was pretty surprised, to be honest. But it was a really good feeling to have won something.
I think it was really nice to look at how much people had put effort into their posters, and when you look at that you can think, oh, I could have done more, or oh, I could have used less of my time but done something that is just as good. So you can look at these things, look at the way they had the layout of their poster, the way they include their references and all these things. My colleagues, they had a lot of comments about my references because I didn't kind of include them throughout, but it was really helpful to look at people and how colorful their backgrounds were and how eye-catching they were, but at the same time how easy they were to, go through them and read through them. So that was really nice.
I learned quite a lot about other stuff, like some people do things like hemostasis. I learned more about hemostasis. So instead of just look at my poster, when assessing other poster, I've been learning about other stuff that we might not be able to learn during lectures.
Yeah, and people assessing mine has helped because I think it'll help me with posters in the future of the course, and also my presentation skills.
Quite interestingly, the posters that won were not necessarily the posters that I would have suggested that the students would have picked. However, in the end, they were posters probably that involved more in-depth information. So it seemed to be that the students were aware of when their colleagues had gone a little bit above and beyond the basic literature, and all the posters that won had to some extent good evidence of extra information and extra background reading. So it wasn't just that they were voting for them based on how pretty they looked, it was the scientific content that they were reviewing, which I thought was quite good to see.
And we've had a real diversity which shows that students are interested in different parts of the course and different parts of the module, and makes a nice diverse session today.